Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. John F. Kennedy. Capitalists have been playing with fire recently. COVID has made it so much worse. Our late-stage capitalist structures have been breaking down in front of us. Rising prices in every sector for no other reason than profit everywhere as they continue to squeeze every last bit of money from us via rising cost of living. So many are homeless, not because we don't have homes to give them, but because we're artificially raising the prices so the line goes up. If you get cancer from any of the PFAs in the water or other toxins we're exposed to on a daily basis for profit and want to seek treatment, you'll lose all your money and financial assets. That's just the reality we live under. Massive financial fraud and banks failing on purpose to extort money from the American public. This isn't even mentioning how they're ignoring climate change almost entirely, acting like they're doing something with stuff like carbon capture technology, but they're really just throwing out a lot of words and acting like, hey, in the future, we can fix this. So be complacent right now. But nothing is changing, and it will only get worse and worse, and again, the poor will be the ones most affected. This place is a mess, and I'm worried. Far-right theocratic fascist movements have been picking up steam lately. Really, the only solution is helping people realize capitalism is a made-up system that's really not that old. And money is just a way to abstract value to distribute resources. And our distribution lately has been kind of shit. We need a new system to actually get anything done. Profit motives make everyone act like a psychopath, making decisions like they don't have to live in the world they're creating. Henry Ford bought all the trolleys in LA and destroyed them so people would need a car to get around. Much of LA and other American cities are pedestrian hostile because the capitalists want you to need a car and insurance and all the fees that come with that, even though it's an incredibly dangerous activity. We lose so many working class people every year to car accidents, but when you peel back the veil of why we need a car, it's apparent that capitalism is directly leading to those deaths. We wouldn't even need a car if we planned our cities better. Spreading us apart and making us divided is a part of union-busting efforts as well. Divided we beg, united we bargain. A product of living in the suburbs is being divided with your neighbors. There's large patches of grass in between you and them. And much of your life, about 80% of it is spent at work, consuming corporate propaganda. So under these circumstances, it makes sense that a capitalist organization of the economy and this whole experiment would go this long whenever you have people divided and unable to speak to each other or really get to the core of the problems. Instead, what's popular in America is reactionary politics that has very little to do with real life. They want us talking about race so that we don't talk about capital versus the working class. Someone who really understood this was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "We all too often have socialism for the rich and rugged free market capitalism for the poor." Right, when Silicon Valley Bank fails, they get bailed out. But when a citizen fails, they don't. And I can guarantee to you that whichever citizen failed didn't steal $42 billion from investors and lose it in government bonds. They were over-leveraging on purpose, mind you, because the inherent profit motives that the banks exist under incentivize them to use 100% of the money in the bank. Now, our fractional reserve system requires you to have 20% of the money which isn't really that much. And we saw that with Silicon Valley Bank. There was a bank run and $42 billion disappeared due to risky investments. They get bailed out. Does the random person on the street get bailed out? No, they get to starve in the street and be told that they didn't try hard enough, even though a lot of the times they're unemployed due to no fault of their own. According to the general equilibrium model economics, natural unemployment is equal to the level of unemployment in a labor market at perfect equilibrium. This is the difference between workers who want a job at the current wage rate and those willing and able to perform such work. What does that mean? It means that capitalists have an incentive to have a certain amount of unemployed people at any given time. Socially, we will call those unemployed people failures. But economically, they would advocate for their existence due to being able to pay all of the other workers less, due to them thinking that they're easily replaceable, which even if you're not easily replaceable, they're still willing to do it because they want to make a point. They don't want anyone else rising up. Now, that's more from a work culture perspective. But when you go into the larger macroeconomic principles of this, they're advocating for a certain amount of unemployment. Capitalism is a system built on and dependent on being able to exploit people. And right here, the general equilibrium model economics is describing the optimal amount of human suffering that we need to maximize profits. All those people that lose their jobs, lose their significant others, kill themselves following a financial crash, they don't care at all. Really, they're measuring the optimal amount of that they can have while maximizing profits. So you might say, don't hate the player, hate the game. All right, you win. I hate the game. Capitalism is trash.